Hi, this is Dr. Campbell. Today I want to talk about how should Black and BLS students respond to Boston Public School Office of Equity findings. In a recent article, Boston Public Schools has responded to the Black and BLS complaint through an investigation conducted by its Office of Equity. The investigation was used to minimize the perception of racism in Boston Public Schools. The Black and BLS movement needs to request an investigation that expands to all aspects of the Boston Latin School. Now, according to the article, which is titled Boston Public Schools Release Findings of its Investigation into Boston Latin School Racism Concern, the district's Office of Equity has effectively minimized the perception of racism by finding only one incident out of 7 where policies and procedures were violated. The inquiry focused on incidents between November 2014 and January 2016. The one incident involved a student using a racial slur and making a threat towards another student. It was found that in this incident, administrators were negligent in the investigation process and they did not adequately discipline the student, nor take the appropriate steps to ensure support and safety for the student that was victimized. The Office of Equity investigated the Black and BLS complaint regarding social racial media attacks. The Office of Equity found that the Boston Latin School administrators did not violate any policies or procedures. They agreed with the determination made by the Boston Latin School administrators that most of the racial remarks that were made by persons who live outside of Massachusetts and did not attend their school. Furthermore, the report indicates that administrators acted appropriately regarding 4 Boston Latin school students who made racial remarks. Now, the Office of Equity, they recommended that Latin school headmaster Lynn Mooney Teta conduct a racial climate audit before the end of the school year and repeat the process in the next school year. This racial audit should be conducted by an independent outside entity. Otherwise, Boston Latin School administrators will cover up many findings because they are racially insensitive. Now, the first place that the Black and BLS campaigners must address is the leadership perception. The name headmaster has a racial connotation. The term has historical roots in British history. The headmaster or headmistress of a British private school was often the owner of the school or a member of the owning family, and the position often remained in the family for many generations. The term headmaster implies ownership, while the term principal implies educator. The Black and BLS campaigners will benefit from the Boston Latin School using names that are consistent with education and not racially insensitive. And so the question is, what are the other mechanisms that will reveal to Black and BLS that Boston Latin School has a racist culture? You see, many school codes are unfamiliar and opposed to culturally diverse student home codes. Blacks have difficulty with school instructional concepts and ideas that are absent in their community, culture, or economic environment that either ignore or represent their present condition. School instructional procedures include cultural values, orientations, and perceptions that differ from those of Black students. For example, most elementary and secondary school curriculum are beneficial to white middle-class children. Public schools continue to have culturally based philosophies and curriculum that focus on white European values. School instructional procedures include cultural values, perceptions, and orientations that differ from those of Black students. In school, students become passive informational recipients, while in their culture, they are involved in a learning experience that is give and take. And in one situation, they may be the learner, and in another situation, they are the teacher. You see, Black at BLS should not settle with the findings of the Boston Public School Office of Equity. They should investigate the trends of discipline at the school, which was absent in the investigation. The investigation did not include an evaluation of student participation as well. In most schools, you will find that Black students participate in mostly athletics. They should evaluate, do white teachers actively recruit Black students to participate in all after-school activities? And if so, do they have the documentation? One place that will provide evidence is a review of the school yearbooks for the past 10 years. Another question that needs to be entertained is the relationship between Black students and teachers. Do Black at BLS campaigners feel that white teachers accept and are appropriately responsive to their verbal and nonverbal behavior of Black students? Schools and Black student conflict develops from expectation differences related to interaction styles. White Americans believe Blacks should interact with them by acknowledging their cultural identity, being socially polite and friendly, and supporting their arguments. Black Americans believe whites should interact with them by being polite to the other as an individual, supporting their arguments, and making them relative and being assertive. There's a difference. Blacks and whites have differences in communication styles, which contribute to the complaint that the Black at BLS campaigners have, for which the Boston Public School Office of Equity was neither responsible for nor desired to entertain because it was outside of the normal school procedures and policies. White Americans' unfamiliarity with the Black communication style results in a misunderstanding by the American mainstream and can create the perception of racism at the Boston Latin School. One area of complication is associated with debates. Blacks not only debate the idea, they also debate the person, while whites debate the idea rather than the person debating the idea. This becomes offensive for many white educators and continues to fuel the perception of racism. Blacks will often evaluate where a person is coming from by probing beyond a given statement in order to clarify the meaning and value of a particular behavior or attitude. Black students contrast white middle-class communication when they speak over others' voices and repeat the communication until they are responded to or until they have someone's attention. Black communities accept the approach that children use by interrupting others or speaking out of turn, which is an unacceptable school practice, and teachers view this behavior as disruptive and inappropriate. Anglo-Americans place a high value on allowing one person at a time to speak to indicate respect for an individual. While these recommendations for the Black at BLS campaigner is not exhaustive, it is evident that the Boston Office of Equity has bamboozled, again, the Black at BLS movement by focusing only on policy and procedure and not the real contributors to racism in education. This is Dr. Campbell. You can read about this article as well as additional information on our website at www.positiveracialrelationships.com. Of course, if you want to talk about it, you can call me on my direct line, 856-566-3267. Have a great day, and thank you very much.
Yeah. Be sure to check out PositiveRacialRelationships.com. Check it. Look, pull your pencils out, class is in session. Let's focus on loving our neighbor without a question. Visit PositiveRacialRelationships.com. Leading classrooms together like a marriage bond. Kick racism out, that ain't what life's about. For more information, check the website out.